Este tío es un campeón.
¿Por qué? Porque puedo.
Okay, let me ask you something, right? I think another big question that people, I don't want to say like outsiders, but people who aren't too familiar with the Bible, they ask this a lot, right? And I'll give you the answer that I was given, and then you can tell me like your answer, right? So one of the big questions is, how come the Bible, specifically the Old Testament, speaks on all these prophets, right? And like you mentioned, a lineage of prophets. And now, Jesus became like the last prophet, right? Nowadays, we don't seem to have a prophet, right? Like, how come it's been, 2,000 years of history, and we haven't gotten any prophets, right? The answers that I've gotten are, well, one, there's the Pope, right? He's the modern day prophet that there's been a lot. The second answer that I got was, or that I feel is that, I guess the most accurate one from the two that I've gotten, is, if you look through the Bible, the Old Testament, it's one person who's the leader of people, right? Who God chose for him to lead a group of people, right? Jesus came down to, and I guess a lot of these prophets also did that to kind of fix something that was wrong in the way people believe certain things, right?
God would send them,
right? Which is why that there was the Ten Commandments, and all these different things that God sent to these people, right? And then Jesus being the last one, he's the one that kind of, said, you could God's anywhere, he's everywhere as long as you pray, right? He's the one that said you just have to believe. So the answer that I got, just tying those two things are, because of Jesus, anyone's able to become kind of like a prophet, and not in terms of being a leader, or you could be a leader, right?
Yeah.
But not in terms of you being the chosen one, but you spreading the love and wisdom of God.
Yeah.
So now, what's the right answer? No, that was not the right answer. What's your opinion on that?
So it's my opinion, but I'll give you the right answer. I'll tell you, the Pope is not a prophet.
The Pope is not a prophet.
There might have been popes that could have been prophets, but not all of them are. There wasn't just one prophet. Like, so if you would study like the Old Testament, there was never one prophet there was never only just one.
There was never just one at a certain time.
Sometimes there have, but there's been times where there's multiple. So they don't tell you that. So they tell you there are multiple prophets, but usually there's one that stands out, right? So like, a Moses, a Samuel, or like the big characters and stuff. But there were multiple. There were a lot. There wasn't just one. And I don't know, like, if people don't know, just a prophet is someone that God sends, who God talks through that person and stuff. Yeah, he chooses a person, and he talks with that person, and the person delivers the message. It's up to them.
Moses, Abraham, David.
All of them, yeah. So in Scripture, in the New Testament, it talks about different gifts that people have, and I've had conversations about this kind of stuff, and people say like they have experienced it. There's dreams. Sometimes people have dreams about the future. I personally have had that.
Me too, bro.
And it happens, like in the same day or later on. Visions, healings. One of those gifts is prophecy. So you said, like, why don't we have prophets now? Right? That was your question? Yeah. I would ask you, have you looked for them?
No.
So are they supposed to, like, knock on your door and just walk in?
I mean, Jehovah's Witness be knocking on your door.
So I would tell you these prophets are around right now. Like, right now. They are around. And the proof would be so a prophet, prophesy. So they declare something that's going to happen. The proof would be there are prophets today. And I've seen their videos. They post a video at a certain date. They prophesy about the future. And later on, the very thing they prophesied about becomes true.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that I followed, he prophesied about COVID a whole year before it happened. And the video is right there. It gives you the date. It's on YouTube. You know, he can't hack that. Like, the video is right there, almost a whole year before it happened. He says, like, I see like a disease, an epidemic is coming. And so he's like, you know, we have to pray against this stuff, right? But obviously it ended up being COVID later on. There's plenty of prophets that are prophesying, and they're not taking the credit. I think, you know, if you could tell the future, I think most people would take the credit. They're like, you know, I can tell the future, you know, make money off of it. They give the glory to God. They're saying, it's not me. God is giving me this message, and they are prophesying. I would say most people aren't looking for that. So, like, when you're like, oh, we're other prophets, well, like, you're not even looking for them. So, you know, how are you supposed to know about them?
Let me ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's a very great point, right? Are you looking for them? Most people will tell you no, and I think that's great because I mean I don't think that's great. I mean that's a great answer that you gave. That's what I meant in terms of sometimes a lot of people just want things handed to them, and they don't want to work for them, right?
Yeah.
But kind of going off of the prophet that you mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you also believe that, you know, some of the big superstition, not superstition, I mean, some of the big, not prophets, but like future tellers, and these have been throughout history, right? Through modern history, right? Where they prophesy stuff. And they have some stuff that's correct. But they also have a bunch of bogus stuff, right?
Yeah.
How true would you believe someone if they just follow trends? Like, haven't we had different diseases throughout history, right? You know, something that I could relate it to, right, is the stock market, right?
Yeah.
You know that thing's gonna go up and down.
Yeah. Oh, somebody says
historically it goes up and down every what, 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, 7
right?
years is whatever. Yeah.
You know, someone could say that
it's gonna happen.